matchup. Carnes has been as good as I guess.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. He was outstanding in his start against Chicago. And I know people. It's easy for people to think that he gets taken out after the home run. That he didn't do his job. He was tremendous. We'll take that same start every day of the week. He just gave up a home run to a really good hitter. Hopefully, he feeds off a little bit of what Odo started last night. And in the same token, hopefully Syndergaard goes the opposite way because there was two pretty good pitchers last night.
Speaking of home runs, Curtis Granderson for the Mets. A lot of leadoff homers from the number one spot in that lineup. What does he mean to the Mets? And conversely, he struggled against the Rays from his time with the Yankees. Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't have an exact reason why that is, other than to credit the Rays pitching over the years. But Curtis Granderson's a very good player. He's extremely dangerous. You could argue as dangerous as anybody from the leadoff spot because he does have that combination of speed, power. Hopefully, if that's a situation that's taken place where he's struggled, hopefully we can maintain that. But we know he's very, very potent with his bat, and we'll try to control that as much as possible.
Another night with 5 righties on the bench, including Schaefer, who's now had 3 straight games off. Is Colon a guy you might match him up with? Or is that
yeah, I think we would probably lean towards that. That looks like a day we'll go in there. But, Schaefer, he had 3 straight days, but he started the last game in Chicago. So we talked to Schaefer, and it's not the perfect situation all the time for a young guy coming up. But after speaking with him yesterday, he understands. He's got a valuable role here, and when opportunities present where he can come off the bench and help us, we really value his at bat, and especially the way he showed himself in Chicago in that series of being very disciplined.
What have you seen different from Evan just the last couple of weeks? It seems like he's picked it up both
in
terms of the base and the power.
Yeah, you know what? Last night was pretty telling in the first inning when he got to that fastball off DeGrom. He's getting the pitches that Evan Longoria generally gets to. And I'm not going to say anything. He's had a tough time getting to him, not by his own choice, but I think he's figured out a way to maybe work smart, maybe work less at times, stay fresh, and hitting is all. It's so much timing involved, and when you got good timing, you catch up to everything, and you recognize the off speed. And when you're not seeing the ball that well, generally it's one or the other, the off speed or the fastball that you see, the other you don't. So he's an extremely talented hitter that eventually we all knew that was going to lock it back in, and he's been on fire along with some of these other guys here in the lineup, him and Cabby.
Yeah, that's the Cabby you signed up for, right?
Sure. We can keep doing that. That'll be fine.
You'll take 500?
Yeah.
Was it just, you think, coincidental that he came back from the DL so hot?
I think it's more coincidental. Probably there's a rest factor in there, freshen up a little bit, but I think it's more coincidental than anything.
Everyone was saying he thinks the offense is contagious. Do you see that happening?
I think we all feel that way, especially the way the last couple series have gone. It seems like we've had a lot of contributions throughout top to bottom. And, you're not always going to have an offense that's just going 1 through 9 hot. You don't want to have an offense 1 through 9 cold. Generally, it's, you lean on 3 or 4 guys per series or per week. But I think we all feel right now there's a bunch of guys in that lineup that are swinging the bat well.
As a manager, how nice is it to have a guy like Kiermaier who, even when he's not hitting the ball as well as he'd like to, is still impacting the game continuously?
Yeah, he's a very special player. What he does defensively, and KK does a lot offensively when he gets on base, and he creates a lot of havoc. But we know, regardless of whether he's on fire at the plate or he's not, he's gonna do some big things for us defensively. He does that better than anybody in baseball as far as a defensive aspect.
We were talking about who was going to play left and right before the game yesterday. I guess it worked out well with that size and work.
Yeah, it was. We didn't draw it up for that way, but that was a tremendous play. Grady kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think any of us in the dugout thought that ball was going to carry that far, and we're more or less hoping it was just going to hook foul. And then Grady, just great play.
Maybe that's the key, put the taller guy in left.
That was the thought. Yeah.
The back end of your bullpen has been less effective lately. Is there any sense of fatigue in there? That's not like they've thrown a lot of innings.
I don't think so. I mean, not from our perspective. No, I think we're very conscientious of how we approach Jake, Box, all of our guys, and when they need days, they get them. But no, I don't think it's a fatigue factor. I think it's more of a couple fluke situations, plays that have kind of evolved over the last couple days, and that's something that we just got to deal with a little bit.
First year doing this as a manager, is there a different feel, 7-man bullpen, 8-man bullpen, in terms of how often you get guys hot or anything like that? Or are you pretty comfortable with either way? Or
Well, I think
do you feel a difference?
Yeah, I think you'd always prefer to have, as a manager, I think that's one thing Tito talked a lot about. I like the 8-man because you're able to kind of protect guys a little bit more, stay away from guys, but that's not always what's ideal for the best of the club. So I think we adjust accordingly. But to answer your question, I think 8 is the more the better to keep these guys as fresh as possible.
Fox has had a couple rough outings. I mean, sometimes some managers' theory would be to back a guy off and use him in a less pressurized situation. Maybe in your case, you go to Jake the next time. Any difference in your plan?
No, not at all. If Jake and Box are ready to go tonight, which I assume they will be, they'll be pitching in those same situations again.
So same philosophy as always. Whoever the better matchup is gets the 9th, gets the 8th.
Correct. Yep.
And Desmond didn't play last night because of the weather. That was all?
He's fine. He's playing 7 innings tonight. I think it kind of helped out a little bit that he had he's been dealing with a little bit of a stiff back, so nothing big. He's scheduled to play 7 innings tonight.
In the field.
Yeah.
And then Smiley set for Tuesday. You said the 11th.
The 11th.
And
Yep.
that's. Do you know where that is yet, or are you
Durham.
looking at weather? Durham.
Durham. Yeah.
And then how will you guys know if that's the last one or not?
Well, a lot will be on how he feels coming out of it. Everything he's I can tell you, talking with Drew, he's itching to go. Part of our process, and it's not always ideal for the player, but we have to look at the big picture here, and we've done this with all of our pitchers. When they kind of say they're ready to go, let's go get one more. So we'll let that take place. Get him back here, see how he feels, throw his bullpen, and then we'll look where, if it makes sense at that time, to slot him back in.
And one last one, Colome is. It's had an interesting year.
Yeah.
Have you seen him figure out the bullpen situation a little bit?
You know what? Alex has done a really nice job lately. He's really taken to Stan and Hicks' thoughts on the difference of pitching in the bullpen as opposed to being a starter. And our need right now is for him to be a good bullpen pitcher, and he's taken to that. And I think if you look at his pitch mix, he's changed it a little bit. He's probably gone more of a 2-pitch mix. Not trying to master 4 different pitches, and that seems to help. But overall, I think it's the conviction with what he's doing, how he's throwing them in. Last night, he came in that situation, I believe it was 1st and 3rd. I dotted up a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. That it was very much, here it is, hit it approach. And I think as a reliever, you have to have that mentality more times than not.